What is going on, Sabres fans? Welcome to another episode of Sabres Spotlight with your host, Matt and Ryan. Ryan, what's going on?
Oh, what up, everyone? And it's not just me today. We got three on this podcast. Eric, why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh man,
No. I am going to introduce him.
Okay, go ahead.
Everybody, we have the first guest on Sabres Spotlight. This is my brother-in-law, two-time back-to-back Chicklets Cup champion, as the hat shows. And he might be number 36 on the ice, but he's number 1 in your hearts. Eric, how's it going?
That's an intro that I probably don't deserve. It's going great, man. I'm excited to finally make my debut on Sabre Spotlight.
You're like Terry Ryan. You're like the old man of the of the Sabre Spotlights podcast, just making his debut.
Comes back in his old age to give one last ride.
Wow. I feel like my debut is also my send-off. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're just one and done for you. Yeah, enjoy the hour and a half that we have here tonight.
I mean, until that viewership goes up, and then why not have a choice?
For real.
All right, Ryan. Let's start with you. What's up, man? What's new with Ryan? What's going on?
Well, if you notice, we got a different background today because I'm in my kitchen.
I did notice that.
I'm in my kitchen because my wife is in Ithaca for a work trip, so it's just me and the dog. And I'm like, well, I'm not just going to sit in the basement and leave my dog alone upstairs. So I decided to move my setup to the kitchen.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. And Eric, how about you? What's up, man?
Oh, not much. I'm just excited to bash this team, even though they've done okay. I don't know. I get nervous about what you guys are going to say. You guys can be a little positive for me sometimes.
Negativity does sell, so we might need you permanently.
There we go. Well, I'll be quick here too. We want to get right into the Sabres talk. We got a pretty loaded show here today. But I do want to just talk about my new snowblower that I got real quick because I have not had a snowblower, and I bought this fucking thing like a week ago because we knew this storm was coming, and I was sick and tired of shoveling. And let me tell you, I feel like a man when I am using this snowblower. I just it took me 30 seconds to run from and I don't have a very big driveway, but I'm a little man. Like I'm not made for shoveling pounds of snow.
No.
It took me.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. So it took me 30 seconds to run from my garage to my street, and I look behind me. It's just a beautiful line. I was just like, wow, why have I not invested in this a long time ago? But I know you have a snowblower around you. Eric, you guys got one over there?
Oh yeah. Have you never had a snowblower before?
Well, so we bought our house like 5 years ago, and we did have one. I can't remember if the lady that was here left it, or I might have got it from my other brother-in-law, DJ. One of those two, but it was kind of a piece of shit. Like it didn't really work too much.
DJ,
so.
they came from you, piece of shit.
It was a piece of shit, but it was free, so like whatever. But it didn't really work. But this one is a beaut. It is a beaut,
dude.
So
how much? So it's weird because like where we all live, it's like kind of similar areas, but like 2 miles in one way could be completely different. Where I am, we probably got over 2 feet of snow. Like, what about you guys?
What'd you get, Eric?
I didn't get 2 feet. If I got,
he's like, I haven't been out of the fucking house yet.
Oh no, I have. But actually, my neighbors snowblowed my driveway for me, so I didn't really have to do much there.
Clutch.
Yeah. But I was out with the dog, and we were running around in the snow. But I mean, it was only up to at least a foot. Like that's it.
You made your 80-year-old elderly woman neighbor snowblow your driveway for you.
Yeah, well, that's what she gets.
She knows better. She's 80. She's been through a buffalo winter or two.
Right. She's got more experience than me.
That's true. That is true.
And,
I got Eric. How much did you say you had?
About a foot.
Yeah. I'm closer to you than I am to Ryan, but I'm not like super far from you, Ryan. I probably got about 2 feet here at my house.
Dude, it's crazy. My parents in West Seneca have like 4.5 feet, and they're getting another 2. It's insane.
Oh yeah, my parents are in West Seneca too. Well, they're like Cheektowaga, West Seneca, but
They're the
they
other
got a
side. They're
lot
the
more.
other side.
They
Yeah,
got
they're
pounded.
like it's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how you operated in Buffalo without a snowblower for the longest time. It's like a necessity, dude.
With your stature.
Well, you know what
Yes.
it is. Because I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I know all about body mechanics, proper shovel mechanics. So
Did you
it was
have
getting done.
Did you
There it
have the
is.
ergonomic shovel with like the curvy handle and shit?
Absolutely. I did my dynamic warm ups and stretching before I went outside. Yeah, it was very, very healthful for my body. It basically just turned into a workout. But one other quick shout out before we get into Sabres. I got to shout out Eric, Ryan. I know you watched a little bit. Eric, I don't know if you've been tuned in yet, but the PWHL, I checked out a stream last night and it was pretty sick. It was pretty cool. Like, it was just like pretty good hockey. These women are great skaters. There's some pretty good speed and stuff. So I don't know, Ryan, what'd you think? And then Eric, we can send over you if you
Oh,
tuned in too.
it's so awesome, especially now because like this league is allowing hitting. Like hitting in women's hockey has
Mm.
been like legal for a long time, but like you can't make open ice hits. In this league, they're like, no, we want to be like the men. We want to kill each other out there. So, dude, these women are bodying each other and then ripping up and down the ice and just snipping top titty. It's insane. They're so good. They
Top
dangle the
titty.
they dangle the fuck out of like anyone that suits up like any regular person. They would just walk them and just rip it top corner. So it's been really exciting.
So I haven't watched anything, but I heard no open ice hitting, only in the corners.
No, you can hit open ice in this league.
Yeah, okay. I was missing.
Yeah, I wonder too, like if they have those rules, like how much they're going to enforce anyways. Like you said, the women want to play, so like they're in the end. It was Montreal versus New York. I only saw the third period, but it was intense. I mean, like New York tied it up like 2-2 like early in the third, and then there was definitely some hits. I saw more along the boards than open ice, but there was bodies flying for sure. It was fun game. So yeah, hopefully that keeps taking off. I know it's just a short season, but the inaugural season, and then we'll kind of see where it goes from here. But
Yeah, I mean, women's hockey is needed like a legitimate league that's unified. Usually there's like 2 leagues, like 3 leagues out there, and they're not unified. This time there's one league, and it looks like they're going to expand at some point and like have just all the best players play under one league, how it should be. So that's good.
That's
well,
awesome.
it'll be nice too when like the Sabres get relegated. They finally have a league that they can play in.
Oh,
like
no.
the league.
Oh man.
And with that,
brutal.
we'll get into Sabre. We'll start with some quick news highlights here before we get into the game recaps and whatnot, and we'll get through that pretty quick because we got some pass-fail kind of lined up for the segments here on the show. But what did we think about the big blockbuster trade that came through the wire a handful of days ago? Philip Cedarquist traded for we're not really sure yet, but we're getting some future considerations. We got thoughts on this trade here, fellas?
I don't think there should be thoughts on this trade.
No, there really shouldn't be. I mean, Kevin Adams traded Cedarquist pretty much for a beer at the draft in Vegas.
Yeah, so just for the viewers, just so if you're not aware, just some quick highlights on Cedarquist. He's a 23-year-old forward. We took him 5th round in the 2019 NHL draft, and he's played in 74 games for the Amherst, 24 points, 10 goals, 14 assists. So just whatever trade, but yeah, nothing. We don't even know what we're getting yet. But like you said, probably a bag of pucks or just some nonsense. But hey, Kevin Adams is indeed alive, so at least we know that. So.
Hey,
I'm not even sure if it was him that made the trade. Like
that's true. That is true.
I'm pretty sure Jason Carmanos runs the AHL team, so maybe he made the trade, and Kevin was just sleeping.
They said Montreal said it was Montreal, right? Yeah. So they said they wanted this guy, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you something eventually, and then Kevin Adams will just forget eventually, and we'll just get nothing for him. We just get
one day for all the future considerations we've accumulated over the years, like you got to think we'll cash him in at some point for something. Like, what about like a Dave and Buster's card or something? Like,
yeah, that 52 G's at D&B's.
Yeah, come on.
For all my Pitch Perfect fans out there, if you didn't get that reference, but all right. And then we got the other more interesting trade news, I guess. Matt Savoy traded to the Moose Jaw Warriors. I'm not totally plugged into the WHL, but it seems like Moose Jaw is maybe more primed for like a run at like the trophy. If I don't know if any of you care to elaborate on that, but big trade, and in his first game he does come up big with 2 goals and 2 assists. So
Yeah, that team's really good. I'll start. That team has Jagger Firkus on it. Awesome forward. I think Denton Matejchuk plays for them.
awesome name.
A defenseman drafted in the first round this past year. But that team's really good, and I kind of thought that, and it's weird because the team that Savoy was on was also kind of good, but they're just like, yeah, no, we're not good enough. And in that league, it's so funny because they're like, if you're not good enough and you deal all your big guys, you get traded for like picks that are like 7 years down the line. So,
Oh, you
Savoy
get a
got traded-
ton of future considerations in the WHL.
Yeah, Savoy got traded for a million parts. He got traded for like a 12-year-old. So it's pretty wild, but hey, it's fun. It's good for Savoy. He'll go for play for a championship.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, I saw like highlights of his first game, and I will say, like, I don't know. I'd have to look up like attendance and whatnot, but like I don't know. I think they were home. It didn't look like it was that full. Like I felt like I saw more fans at like Wenatchee when he was playing there, but it's not a huge deal, I guess. But
look up where Moose Jaw is, and then that'll tell you like how fans can even get to the fucking arena.
All right, and then we got taking us back to the good old days. Tyler Ennis retires from hockey, and Ennis had, I don't know, he had some good years here with the Sabres, but number 63, I still remember watching him on the ice, him and little Nathan Gerby. I don't know if they played at the same time, but I loved watching those little guys just because I'm a little guy myself, so it gives me hope for the future that I can potentially be a professional athlete. So, but any you guys got anything on Ennis here?
No, I'll say that.
Any like favorite memories of him as a Sabre or anything like that?
No, but if you want hope for little guys, then just look at the Buffalo Sabres right now. We're chock full of little guys. But as far as Ennis goes, I don't have many fond memories of him other than going off sides as soon as the offside challenge rule hit. It was like every other goal he was offsides. That's what I remember.
Listen, you can't talk about Tyler Ennis like that. He was one of my favorite players for a long time, and he scored an epic playoff goal against Philadelphia in overtime. So that's like our last good memory as fans is Ennis scoring that goal. So that's really all. And remember the Foligno Ennis Stafford line?
I do remember that.
Dude,
I guess
they were
there's a bright spot.
Foligno's rookie year he was in the Amherst for a while, gets called up, and they put those three together. Somehow Tyler Ennis is playing center at 5'6". I have no idea how he's playing center.
Isn't it funny though?
He's paying Krebs.
That line cooks at the end of the season, and then they come out the next season and do absolutely nothing. Does that sound familiar at all?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But hey,
everybody on the Sabres. I looked this up before we go, before I got on here, but in 34 years old, retires 700 NHL games, most of his seasons with Buffalo, but 346 points. So his best offensive season was 2010-2011, 20 goals and 49 points. Played every single game that season. So,
dude, I got one more for you that I added late.
I saw. I didn't know if this was you or if this was Eric, and but it turns out it was you because Eric didn't give a fuck. So,
dude, Cody Hodgson is back in pro hockey. He hasn't played since the 15-16 season, and he's playing at age 38 for the Milwaukee Admirals in the AHL. You just love to see it. You love to see a guy that goes out for a long time because he has a degenerative. I don't know the word. You guys know the word.
Right.
I'm gonna get cooked by people in texting for that. But he's got a back issue, and it's really nice to see him just like, hey, just play one more year, bud. Just go out the way you want to go out.
I thought he had that type of hypothermia where he was like really susceptible to certain ailments.
I don't know. It was really fucked up, but like he was cool. I thought he was gonna be good when we traded that day. Deadline 2013 or maybe like 13 or 14. We traded Zach Cassian 1-for-1 for Cody Hodgson. I was so hyped. I threw my phone across the room. I was running around my room. I remember that. He was so good. Vancouver loved him. They were pissed. and he, ultimately we know how the story ended with them, and I think we're still paying him on his buyout actually, which would be awesome. I kind of would. That'd be so awesome.
It's
Wouldn't surprise me.
malignant hypothermia.
Yeah, that's crazy. Feel
Yeah.
so bad for
Yeah.
the kid. Well, he's
Yeah,
not
I don't know much.
he's
I
older
don't
than
know
us.
much about that, but just reading about it here, it just says produces muscle rigidity, fever, and coronary stress. So yeah, not a good combination for a hockey player. But
No.
But he's back. He's
Yeah.
back. He'll get a swan song, and that's just a good story. I like to see former Sabres, succeed and like be happy in life.
Cody Hodgson was like the discount Jason Pominville. Like all the ladies love Jason Pominville, right? Because he was just like a good looking guy. And I feel like Cody Hodgson was like round 2 of like Jason Pominville. Like all the
This
ladies love
guy,
him.
Eric, I don't know how you feel, but this motherfucker had a jawline, like a jawline to be jealous
Cody
of.
Hodgson?
Yeah.
Just a man missile.
I don't know if I'd describe as that. Certainly don't use the words man and missile in the same sentence often.
Can we address, before we get into the Sabres, can we address your hoodie publicly on the podcast?
Yeah, go ahead.
This guy
I
is
thought we could get away with this.
No, this guy is wearing we're bringing him on our show, Sabre Spotlight, a Buffalo Sabres podcast. This guy's wearing a Leafs hoodie, bro.
Got to
Come
mess
on.
around a little bit, man.
Come on. He is a cheater. He's just, just hey,
I'm-
on the
I'm
side
not-
he's got the Sabres. He's got the Sabres at home. They're not doing so hot. It's been 10 years of misery, so on the side he's got the hot blonde down the street that he visits every so often. So
Everyone's got him. You got
Good for
you
you.
got the Coyotes, and I got the Canucks, and he's got the Leafs. It's just that
Good
the
for-
Leafs
good for
are
you. Good.
a little lower of a blow.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm not even like a huge Leafs fan. I mean, I like them. I follow them casually, but I had to wear it to screw with you guys.
Anything to cope with how terrible the Sabres are. I kind of respect it. So
Actually, this is my retaliation for you saying on last show that you don't like chefs, Ryan.
oh my god, so
Yeah,
you
that's-
kind of gonna troll me.
yeah.
Okay.
That's a problem with me.
All right, nice. Oh, you know what? Before we get into this, because we talked a little bit last time about the Sabre. Oh, fuck! What was I? I just completely lost my train of thought. So it'll come back to me.
Nice.
Oh no!
Great to-
I got it back. I had to remember what we were talking about because we were talking about secondary teams, right? And
Yep.
you remember last time, Ryan? You were talking about towards the end of the show last week. You mentioned that girl on Twitter who was saying how they skipped like a total generation of fans. Like I'm a 20-year-old and no one my age cares about hockey, right? So shout out to her and shout out Megan Chayko while we're at it in the beginning here, but. But so I was talking to my buddy at work. He's got 2 high school kids, like baseball players, but young athletes and stuff. And I just asked him because I'm like, you know what? Because we were talking about the Sabres and hockey. I'm like, are your boys are they into hockey? Like, are they into Sabres? He's like, absolutely not. He's like they could care less about it. He's like, and the same thing with all their buddies. And I'm just like, it's just so sad how they've been bad for so long that they've missed a generation of fans. And it's kind of like that thing where if you grew up here, a lot of people they follow other teams just because if you're just getting into hockey, you don't want to watch losing hockey. So it's been a tough spot for Buffalo.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get into our recaps here. Do we want to just go right into pass fail? How do we want to work this, boys?
I mean, we're playing well, so let's start. I want to talk about us playing well.
All right. You know what? And I'll second that because with this week with the show doc, I was fucking feeling it, boys. I was on here after every game, and
I know
was
you're putting GSAX in here. Holy shit!
Oh yeah, I was putting in work right after I was getting initial thoughts in. I got advanced statistics. I got analytics on the mind. I am ready to go. So the Sabres, they got this big home stretch coming up, right? We talked about it on the show the last couple of weeks. A little bit of a soft spot in the schedule. Can they take advantage of some of these weaker opponents and actually play good at home? First game since we talked last week, they actually get a nice win at home, 5-3 against the Ottawa Senators. UPL played pretty solid in net. He let in a bad third goal, which I think cost him a lot in the advanced analytics, like you were saying, Ryan. So he was actually a negative GSAX on Money Puck after, but 25 of 28. made some nice saves throughout the night, but interesting kind of like lineup tweaks this game. What did you guys think about like Greenway centering, kind of moving up, and then Middlestat moves down? We kind of see the return of like the RKO line. Of course, the Poso wasn't back, but Gergensons and them played together. So, any thoughts on this game? Anybody?
Well, you guys are going to hate me for this whole segment when you're talking about the Sabres playing well. And I'm actually interested in any of the advanced stats, because if there's one thing I'm behind on, it's understanding advanced stats. I'm very eye test guy.
So is Matt. So you come to the right place.
Oh yeah, I'm huge on the eye test.
I'm slowly like teaching him like what means what and stuff. So it's been a process, but let's hear what you have to say.
People will use these advanced stats to say, "Oh, well, we're doing well here," and it's just I don't see these things. Yeah, they won 5-3 against Ottawa. I didn't think they played well. And I thought that Ottawa gave up some pretty bad opportunities, especially Thompson's goal on the power play that they just, Tage Thompson has the puck. We'll just let him walk in and snipe. Like, a good team's not going to let you do that. And what happened the next game? We'll get into
He went
that
1-on-3, I think, on that goal.
Right. Oh, well, Corpusalo was horrible. Like, horrible.
Sure, that doesn't help either. But they just stared at this dude and let him just walk in.
Yeah.
Twice.
Tage was on one this game. I feel like this was Tage's best game in a while, besides like the points and stuff. But he's playing so well, and Greenway's centering was weird as fuck, but like it like worked. I don't understand how, but it kind of like did. And like you said, Matt, UPL was like, I think he was pretty good. That bad goal like really dinged him on the advanced stuff. I thought he was good for most of the game, but I don't know. It's nice to beat Ottawa. I think Ottawa is the one team besides us that's like a bigger joke right now. So it is nice to get a win against them after they beat us early in the year.
After they whooped our ass.
Yeah. Well, beat is not even the word to use. You're right.
Yeah, it's nice to get a win at home, and the reason that things kind of needed to be jumbled in this game because Skinner's obviously out with the injury. So Greenway played center, and I think anytime you put somebody on a line with Benson, they're going to play good because like Benson is like literally our best player. So he's kind of driving a lot. But so Greenway played between Benson and Oposo on this line. But yeah, it was good to see Peterka at least get on the score sheet. That was his first goal in 12 games. He's always been streaky, so who knows if that can kind of ignite him a little bit. They actually get a power play goal, which is kind of nice. I mean, that's obviously cost them a lot of games this season. I don't remember what that power play goal looked like. I want to say it was pretty good.
It was the one that Eric
described.
He just held it.
Oh, the 1-on-3, yeah.
And they just ignored him.
But he kind of dragged it back, right, and shot it. Like it looked like that was the
his first goal.
They just let him walk in. Yeah,
he was set up in his office on the side, and they just passed it to him, and didn't like Eric said, they didn't even bother. They just let him shoot.
Okay.
Yeah. So they start off with the 5-3 win again. Not pretty, I guess, but you make some lineup adjustments and you get 2 points and a win at home, which is rare this year. And then anytime you get a win, we got to follow that up with a loss. So then we get the 1-0 loss at home to Vancouver. This was a tough game. So this was the lake effect snow game. I'm actually surprised at how many people were there. I mean, according to ESPN, there were 17,000 people there, 93% capacity. So this was this the same day as this? Was this Sunday? Do you know? Was this the same day as?
No, Sunday was San Jose.
All right, so no, but this wasn't the same day. Oh no, the Bills were Monday.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. But they had this they had this big storm coming in, so they moved the Bills game from Sunday to Monday, but they kept the Sabres game going on as scheduled, and it was kind of an interesting game. Because we had, poor NHL reffing. Like Darlene took that elbow to the face from Miller, and then Eric Johnson fights him in response. The Sabres, they just didn't generate any good offense in this game. As you can tell, they scored no goals, but really the 5v5 stats were pretty bad as well. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this Canucks game here, getting shut out at home?
Well, it sucked that we were down to 3 defensemen for a really long time in this game. Like you said, Dahlin got hurt.
Sammy went out.
Samuelson got hurt. Oh, full shocker there. Samuelson's out.
Oh no.
Misses a game. Guys fucking made it glass.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, a couple weeks ago, I had the 6 sound effect. I had the clock going. I told you, it's almost time for him to get hurt again.
Yeah,
I mean, I hope
so
he's okay, but...
he goes out, and then, Eric, how do you feel? I think someone else should have fought Miller instead of Johnson.
I don't care who fights who. It was addressed, and that's good. It's something that you really don't see often from this team, is they're addressing a play like that. It was hilarious that he got a 2-minute elbowing penalty for a shoulder hit to the head. I don't understand.
It was
that.
obvious. It was obvious.
And I don't think that he was maliciously trying to do it, but he screwed up, and he hit him in the head, and he got him in the head, and they reviewed it as a 5-minute major, and came back with a 2-minute elbow. That didn't make any sense. And then Gergensons played defense for part of the game, which was hilarious.
Dude, so what else happened? So in that moment, like, good for Owen Power. Like, his gloves were glued on. His gloves were glued onto his hands, so he didn't have to punch JT Miller or anything. But hey, he picks up a penalty. So our best player, well, theoretically our best player, gets elbowed in the chops. It goes as a 2-minute penalty, and then we also get a 2-minute penalty, so we don't even get a power play out of that.
Yeah.
Brutal NHL reffing there.
A hit to the head and no power play. That's terrible.
And it bothers me the most because earlier this year you saw Eric Robinson get a 5-minute major for, like, basically a love tap. And it's like, where is the consistency in this league? Like, there is none.
Yeah, it's brutal.
There's no consistency there. But this, I don't know. I have a couple thoughts about Don Granato in this one, and we've been kind of riding Granato on this show for a while. I think a lot of people have, but I just think, like, okay, as a coach, you see this happen. First off, like, the way the Sabres have been getting fucked with penalties this year. Like, I should be seeing Granato flipping out on the bench way more than he does, like, and showing some more emotion. He never does that shit. It's like, if you want things to change for your team, like, be vocal about it. Let the refs know. And, like, he says some things, but it's like, I don't know. It feels kind of half-assed. But then also, like you said, why, as a coach, when you're already down 2 defenders, and maybe Eric Johnson said he wanted to fight him, but I'd be like, listen, as much as you want to, like, we got to kind of think on our toes here. Like, we can't go down another defender. Like, just let somebody else make that. Like why couldn't have Gergensons have addressed that fight?
Right.
And then he's not playing D, and Eric Johnson actually is. I don't understand. Like, those are the decisions that can cost a game. And in a 1-0 game, it could have been huge.
Yeah. Cousins wasn't doing it.
Right, yeah, he already learned his lesson last time. But I mean, JT Miller is less of a fighter. He could have tuned up JT Miller easily. Like even a guy like Krebs could have just, like, went in there and just took his gloves off and grappled with him for 2 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't about beating the guy up. It was about addressing what had happened.
Right. Yeah.
But even saying, like, I'm glad it got it. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, like, even like Eric, you say, like, I'm glad it got addressed. It's like, I mean, that should be so reflexive, It's like, that shouldn't, like, be this, like, big coaching decision that has to be made, and maybe it's not, but it's like, I mean, Power stepping in was good. He did that right away and whatnot, but you need more of that, and there needs to be more cohesion, with the unit. But yeah, Ryan, go ahead and say what you were gonna say.
I was just gonna say that, like, I just wish it wasn't him, just because we had 3 defensemen for a lot of the game. Like Eric said, Gergensons was playing D for a while, and I mean, this game, Demko was unfucking believable. Like, I feel like the numbers, like, don't really match what I saw. Like, the opportunities we did have, he was all over it. So, props to Demko. He's one of the best in the league.
Well, speaking of numbers, before we get into the Sharks, because we'll move on from this one, let me just throw some advanced analytics your way. UPL gets his second consecutive start, 22 for 23 with a .957 save percentage, plus 1.1 GSAX. So that's not bad. He's positive, so saved us a goal. If he gets any offense in this game, maybe we get a point or two. But
this is
the Sabres were
man. This is one of those games where just pick up a point. Pick up one point, man.
Right.
But those 5v5 analytics say it all. 0.9 expected goals in 5v5 situations. Like, they were not generating anything all game. Right. And it's like, how can you not generate anything for 60 minutes. I don't understand it. Vancouver's not like this defensive stud team. But all right, moving on from them, we can wrap up quick here on the San Jose Sharks. You guys were actually both at this game, so I'll probably let you kind of
Oh
lead this a
man,
little bit more. But a 3-0 home win. What a doozy this game was. I mean, the Sabres just looked phenomenal. You guys want to elaborate a little
you
bit more on this
you
fantastic win they had?
you are full of shit. That's man. Going to the games is so much worse than watching on TV because you can see so
Oh
much
my
more.
god!
And
Oh yeah, for
I'm
sure.
a huge fan of sitting in the 300 level, so I just have this overview of everything. And I hated it. I hated every minute of it. It was just so hard to watch. And one of the things I noticed, and I ranted to my buddy Randy about this already, is that
Ranted to
Shout out
Randy.
Randy.
I
Shout out
want
Randy.
shout out Randy. I I don't understand this, and he's a coach, and he studies a lot of coaching. He's not like high level, but he's really into it, and he knows what he's talking about. So
He's
the
our next guest.
Thompson, all right, the Thompson, Tuck, and Benson line, they had Thompson and Benson sitting at the opponent's blue line,
Yep.
while
Oh yeah.
While Thompson and Darlene just circled around in their own zone, and it happened all game. They didn't change anything. It was so hard to watch.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you listen to every episode, so we've been harping on this fucking system for, months now. I don't understand how last year we were having such great controlled exits going up the ice as a 5-man unit, and now we're back to these like stretch pass, dump and chase. Like, we don't have the team that's built for that. Like, that's more of like a Carolina or a Boston or like even a Colorado feels pretty good at retrievals. We're bad at retrievals. Like, we're just
Yeah, they're
bad.
so bad at retrievals.
We
Yeah.
don't have the guys for that, and that's the system that they're playing. So it just isn't like suited for our players. Like, I love Zach Benson. I think he's a dog, but you can't really expect an 18-year-old, 150-pound kid to go dig pucks out of corners consistently.
Well, that's been a big problem with the system and the breakouts because I feel like this year I'm watching our defensemen so much, especially Power and Darlene. Like when we get the puck in our zone, they know that there's nobody there to help them break out. So they're retrieving that puck so slow because they know they have to turn around and like make this long stretch pass or we're making a line change or something. And they're getting caught a lot because there's already defenders then in their face and then we're losing possession in our own zone again. Whereas like last year we didn't have that problem. Like our defensemen were getting the puck more frequently and we were starting a breakout. Like we actually had guys coming up the ice together. Like that's not happening this year. It doesn't make any sense. And like you said, I think the most frustrating thing, like you said, Eric, is when you're at these games or even just watching on TV, if there's no systematic changes. Like how can you be watching that from the sidelines there or the side of the ice, whatever the fuck it's called, behind the bench and not making any adjustments? And what are the players thinking about that? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Eric, I have a question because I actually didn't make this game. I was supposed to have tickets, but my buddy had COVID and I couldn't find other people to go. Are all 4 lines playing this way? Like when you see in person, are they all doing this?
So I saw the Tuck Thompson Benson line do it. I saw the Gergensons Opposo Krebs line doing it, where Opposo was the guy circling around in his own zone, not knowing what was going on, while the other two were just out in Jupiter.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I only ask because I feel like the kid line is carrying the puck every single time. Like
They try. They
Yeah.
try.
I don't know. It's so frustrating. I don't understand. Like I feel like Thompson last year was one of the best players in the league at zone entries, and now we like don't even let him carry the puck through the neutral zone. So, and we have Rasmus Dahlin, everyone in Owen Power, everyone's on them every single game, all the time, and it's like you're not playing to their strength. Those two guys are puck carrying horses. Like let them go gain the blue line and create, and we just
Sure.
don't allow it anymore.
It's weird.
Well, look at how that's translated to the power play. I mean, we don't even look like we know how to gain the possession or gain the offensive zone anymore, like coming across, because they're not doing it all game. I mean, so if you're not practicing that, I mean, it's literally having a direct result on the power play because half the time they can't even get in the offensive zone and get get set up. And then when they do, they're just standing around anyway. So extremely frustrating. But one positive from this game, I guess, and I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on this before we move into pass-fail. UPL does get his third consecutive start, second shutout of the season. I felt like he wasn't tested a whole bunch. The advanced analytics will say that he was 2.88 GSAX. So I don't know. I felt like San Jose didn't generate too many chances. Obviously, over the course of 60 minutes, you have your few nice saves that you have, and I can recall a couple. But that makes him 4-1 over his last 5 starts with a 950 save percentage and 1.4 goals against. So it seems like UPL's kind of grabbed the reins a little bit with the 1A, 1B goaltender situation. But what are your guys' thoughts on this? On maybe giving UPL a little bit more run and maybe letting him find his groove a little bit? Whoever.
So, obviously, UPL has been playing well enough to where he's kind of earned this spot. And Levi, I mean, you guys love to torch him, but in my mind, like, it's not even his fault. Like,
I love Levi.
I agree. It's not his fault. I agree.
You guys eat him up, though, man. I listen to you guys. It's just, but the poor guy. I mean, I'm sure that he's like, yeah, I want to be in the NHL, but everybody can see he's not ready. So UPL doesn't really have a choice, and it also seems like since Comrie's been moved out, UPL has almost found like a calm in his game. He's still a little all over the place, but he's certainly playing well enough to have earned these consecutive starts. And I also think that's important for a goalie to get these consecutive starts, and having all these different goaltenders playing every night, it just doesn't help anybody.
Yeah. I mean, dude, UPL has been by far and away, in my opinion, our best goaltender this whole season. He's had some brain farts and some soft goals and some, flying out of the net moments, but I think, like, overall, he looks like he might actually be like an NHL starter. And when's the last time we've had a goalie that like looked like he could be an NHL, like a long-term solution as like a 1A, 1B type guy? So that's really exciting. And I got to bring up something because I personally still think that we should send Devin Levi back to Rochester. But the Americans just posted a 6-0 shutout tonight with Eric Comrie.
Yeah.
Eric Comrie in net. So Eric Comrie, over his stint in Rochester right now, has a .951 save percentage in the AHL.
Wow. Good for him. He can stay.
So I got it. Yeah, he can stay there, yeah. But that's the difference. So, like, okay, so I don't know, Eric, you might not have heard this if you don't listen to Chicklets, but Ryan, I know they had the goaltender from Seattle on there a couple weeks ago, Joey Decord. I don't know if you listened to this interview or not, but I found it very interesting and relatable back to the Sabres because so Decord's been on fire, and he's the main reason Seattle's kind of back in the playoff hunt in the West. And he was talking about how he's had an up and down kind of career, and he got hot last year when the Calder Cup playoffs were on, and he said something like he played like 26 games during that playoff stretch, and it just really allowed him to, like, playing game in and game out each night just really allowed him to kind of get in the groove and kind of find his stride. And we've talked about that on here before, how it's important for one of these guys to just get a chance in net. And I don't know what they've been waiting for, but now you're seeing UPL kind of take that a little bit, and I think that repetition is paying dividends for them, and it's good for these guys to know who they're playing in front of. My thoughts on the whole Levi situation is he's clearly not ready for facing NHL shots for 60 minutes. Like, that's a tough adjustment going from college to that. But I don't think Comrie's a better option. So I've always said that I just want Levi to stay up anyways, just because why not? And to me, it kind of seems like a perfect marriage where if UPL, he doesn't have to keep playing like he is now, but if he can play good enough, let Levi be that 1B, because this season he's not just going to take that step. Like, he's not just going to be like, all right, I'm like Ryan Miller now after 2 years in Rochester. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, he's still going to need to face these shots and continue to develop and get better. But if he can do that less frequently, and he's not, like I said, costing you these games every once in a while, but also winning you these games, just let him get used to it, but not as often as he can, where it doesn't feel like when he has that bad performance, it's really hurting you too much, and UPL is kind of taking the reins. So I kind of like where the goalie situation is at right now, and we've kind of said before too, it's not like that's what's costing us right now anyways.
Yeah, it would be nice if we could give these guys some goal support every once in a while.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So all right. So with that, we'll get into the meat and potatoes here. We got pass fail on on the show today, and so I think my thought for this is we'll go position group by position group. So we'll go forwards, centers, we'll go defensemen, goalies, and we'll kind of give our player overviews here. We'll go player by player, and then we can elaborate wherever we need to. But we're about halfway through the NHL season here, so it's a good time to kind of reflect on where the Sabres are, where we maybe thought we'd be in the standings, but also where these players would be as far as expectations go and performance goes, because it's time to start kicking it up. So it's a good time to kind of look back on things. So, all right, what do we want to start with? Do we want to start with forwards, centers, defenseman, goalie? What are we feeling?
Let's start with forwards, the wingers in the center. Let's start with that.
All right, so I mean, this is in no particular order, but let's go through what do we want to do here. Let me get my chart open here. Let's start with the Carney boy, and I think we'll just go through each. We'll give pass fail for each
Yeah,
one.
we'll just rapid fire, baby.
Yeah, and then we can elaborate. So we'll elaborate on the forwards before we go to the centers. All right, Benson. I'm giving Benson a big fat pass.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, totally easy pass for me.
Yeah,
All right, so we're all in unison there. I'll be interested to see how many passes we have, how many fails we have. All right, Gergensons. I'm going to give Gergensons a fail.
Man, is there a neutral option?
Yeah, I know it's tough.
You
for
could
him.
be a neutral. You could be a neutral, but whatever you want.
Yeah, it's tough because I want him to do well, but I don't think he's as effective as he's been. So I guess that's going to be a fail.
And he shouldn't have been brought back in the first place, in my opinion. But
give him one more chance. I don't mind. Yeah, but give him that one more chance. He makes the playoffs with the team that he's been with forever, but that's a fail too.
Kevin Adams knew he wasn't making a move, so there was a roster spot available for Gergensons if he wanted. So, all right, Jordan Greenway. I'm going with a pass for Jordan Greenway.
Me too. Pass.
I don't agree. I don't like Greenway.
Okay. What don't you like about Greenway's game this year?
I guess I'm ruined by the hype behind Greenway of being this banger of a forward coming in. He's gonna bang bodies. He's big, and then he comes in. He's like the worst skater I've ever seen. And he hit in the first game. Oh man, his skating is brutal. But he threw a couple hits in the first game, and then after that he's like, oh, this team doesn't hit. Never mind. I'm not going to do that either.
But is that his fault, or is that our did we coach that out of him, just like we coached all the offensive stuff out of Delian?
Whose ever fault it is, it's still a fail for me.
Okay, I get it because I kind of understand where you're coming from because Greenway is kind of showing like more offense with us than he was in Minnesota. He was kind of like pretty good for a while, and then that system they played last year did not, like, nobody on that team did anything offensively. But I gave a pass because I think he's been like the perfect line mate for Zach Benson when he's healthy. I could also have seen myself giving him a fail because he's just been unhealthy again. Like, this guy can't stay healthy. It's another one of the guys that just are always injured.
Yeah, it's tough though because injury's so variable. Like it's just so hard to predict. So I guess I can't ding him for that. I give him a pass because I feel like the games he's been in, he's played pretty well. He's sparked the offensive times. His effort is always there. Like you say, he might not be the strongest skater. He might not be the most offensive guru on the ice and whatnot, but his effort is always there. And I feel like a lot of his lines have been cooking this year, whether it was early on in the season or even now when he had to move up to center. They've had some good success in the lines that he've had, and his lines have been stabilizing to some degree. But
and dude,
I do think just going back
PK
to
PK asked that too.
So there's that too. But I just feel like, as much as we wanted him to be that big body banger, I just think they told him not to. I just think they said, listen, like, you're coming over here. We don't need you to do that. We don't want you to do that. That's not our team. And maybe you can score some more goals or be more offensive, like whatever. As much as I want that, and the Sabres kind of need that, I just don't think they're asking him to do that.
That's a problem, though, in my opinion. Like
I agree.
we don't need 4 lines of scoring.
Oh, for sure. And you want guys to be able, like, hey, who's like, if you're on the ice with this guy, like looking over your shoulder, the other teams get way too comfortable against us. So I agree. But I didn't think him on it just because I don't think he's being asked to do it. But I can certainly see where that's disappointing. And maybe you want him to just do it anyways. Just say fuck it. Like, these are my teammates, and they need more of that as well. So, all right, let's move on to Oposo. What do we got for Oposo? I started off with a fail, as much as I hate saying that.
Poor bastard. Yeah, he's a fail for sure.
You guys, what are you talking about?
I didn't know what you're gonna say. Oh, he's like fourth in our team in goals or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I'm giving a post. Okay. Listen.
He had a good stretch. That was it. And he's back to Mr. Invisible.
I'm giving Oposo a pass. I don't know. I think he's done his job. He's had his guy. I don't know what goes on in the room. You would think that he is like respected, but I question his leadership. So
that's why he's a fail for me. 100% why he's a fail.
Strictly on the ice, I'm giving him a pass. Where like I don't know what goes on in the room, but I'm unsure.
I would rather have 5 more wins and him not be on the score sheet at all than him being 8 goals, 15 points, and being in this position.
Yeah, Ryan, I think you're taking an L on this one because here's my thought.
Fair.
When I was weighing this, but that's why we do this. This is fun. But that's when I was weighing this because I was like, all right, again on ice, like sure he's had some offensive production and he hasn't honestly played too bad, but as far as like what I need Oposo to do this year, like being a leader for this team and being a leader in the locker room, being a leader on ice, like that's the part I question. And if I'm questioning that, it's like that weighs so much more heavily on me because I'm like, this is a young team. You were literally brought back as you wear the C on your jersey to try and keep things under wraps. And again, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. But if I'm questioning that even a little bit, he's had some questionable interviews post games. That weighed a little bit more heavily for me. So that's why I gave him the F there. But he's an interesting player for sure. Anything else on Oposo here before we move on?
Please no.
Please don't bring him back again. Just let him go right off into the sunset.
We could go pretty quick on this one. How about Vic? I got to fail.
Oh, we're to move on. Next.
JJ. I'm starting off JJ with a pass.
Pass. He's been great.
Yeah. Well, he had a rough stretch there, 13 games, but he's still a pass.
Yeah, I feel like his goal scoring has pretty much dried up over the last little while, but I still think he's generating chances. He's just like him and Cousins. I feel like are so snake bit. It's insane, man.
Yeah, he had a huge chance in that Vancouver game.
Yep.
The puck flew out to him in the slot, and he just shot it right back into the goalie.
Yeah. Well, sometimes if you don't have your scoring touch and it just disappears, you got to find ways to contribute in other ways. And I think you've been like mostly good at the other end of the ice and in the neutral zone and stuff. So you got to give. Yeah. I'm giving him a pass. Really exciting young player. I'm really excited to see how he grows.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I have him as a pass as well. He's been kind of streaky these first couple years, anyways. So but he always works his ass off, and I think he's kind of one of the unsung heroes for sure. But all right, how about Jack Quinn? I'm going pass on Jack Quinn. Just a short sample size. Oh, before we move on though, I have to say, I feel like anytime one of us, me or you, Ryan, says great on the show, Eric immediately is going to go, no. No one is great on this team.
There's no. Maybe Benson for being an 18-year-old. But that might be it.
It's so funny. But you said JJ's been great, and I immediately looked at Eric, and he was like, no. I'm like, all right. But
great. Nobody's been great.
All right, so going on, Jack Quinn, what do we got? I started off with a pass.
Jack Quinn's a pass.
Yeah. I mean, simply the fact that he's back is a pass for me.
Sure, but it's also like he's like the only one that isn't doing whatever the rest of the team is doing. He missed all of camp. They like ruined this team in camp. Like he missed all of camp, and he came back and he's like, I thought we were good, guys. What happened? And now he's like the only one still on the page from last year.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like he is one of the. Well, I guess I can ask you guys this too. I feel like he's one of the only players on our team who just has like a good hockey sense and finds himself in the right spots at all times. Like who else on our team besides Benson, like would you say is really like on his level as far as that goes? Those two are up there.
Dude, I really think those two are the best guys on the ice, like that think the game. Quinn has the puck in dangerous positions constantly.
I mean that his assist against the Sharks, you were there, Eric. Like he held that puck just long enough along the boards. I mean the Sharks PK, granted, is terrible, but
Yeah,
like,
bad.
but you
I'm
still
glad
make
you
the
said
plays against a bad PK, and so like
you should.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
he's again, I don't know if there's anybody else that has the hockey sense they have, and for Quinn to be gone after that Achilles injury and just to come back and seemingly kind of pick up right where he left off. I mean, I just pray to God that he stays healthy because who knows kind of where he can go with things. But all right, Eric Robinson, we could go quick with this. I mean, I give him a pass, but small sample size, I guess. But what do you guys say?
I like Robinson. I think he has Joe syndrome from last year, where he joins a team and has something to prove, and he's going to work hard to try to keep his spot. Whereas the rest of the team, they were here from the beginning and they don't give a shit.
That's true, Eric or Ryan.
I don't know. I'm giving him a fail. I thought he was gonna come in and just like be the banger, just because like he doesn't do anything else on the ice,
He's
and
very fast.
he's kind of just a fast, a young Gergensen to me. Just
Yeah, kind of.
like fast and does absolutely nothing else.
I mean, Gergensen was an all-star though.
But that's fine though, because we need someone to fill that Gergensen's role, and if it's a little bit faster of a Gergensen's, I'll take it.
Yeah, I know. And we didn't what did we give up with friggin'? It's gonna cost us nothing because it's a conditional seventh based on games played, and this team has no other reason than to just like not play him that amount of games. So it's gonna end up being nothing. Literally a beer at the draft, like I said.
Well, what's annoying about that is that like he is a better Gergensons, but we're still rolling out Gergensons. Like Robinson should be playing on like that bottom line way more than him. It's amazing to me that he's not playing as much as he is. And I don't know, maybe it's because Donnie and them know they got future considerations coming down the line, and they feel comfortable, just just letting those speak for themselves. But I don't know. I feel like Robinson should be in there more. Do you agree or no?
I'm halfway. I'm half and half.
I'd
rather see him in over Gergensons.
For sure.
I feel like he generates way more on that offense. And when they had the RKO line cooking, the Krebs, Oposo, and Robinson line, like that line was solid when he came over for like 5 games, and so we just stopped it. Like this is shit that I don't understand. But all right, let's move on to Jeff Skinner. Skinner, I'm giving a pass.
Me too.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, I'll give him a pass, although he absolutely sucks at passing. He basically only scores, but
okay. Skinner, we gotta like elaborate on him a little bit because no other player on this team pisses me off and makes me happy more than Jeff Skinner. This guy,
that's so true.
This guy is the worst power play player I have ever seen in my entire life. He does not know what to do on the power play. He does not pass the puck correctly on the power play. Why is Jeff Skinner your guy taking slap shots from the wing? Like, what is going on there? Okay, Jeff Skinner should be your below the red line guy on the power play.
Ryan, to be fair, nobody knows what to do on the power play.
I get it. But besides that, he's had some controller turning off moments in the defensive zone, but then there we go again. There he is. Jeff Skinner is out for a while. Our team can't generate a 5-on-5 again because he's one of the best in the entire league at generating 5-on-5. So He's a pass, obviously. Like, he's awesome. I love him. Great goal song. Amazing goal song.
As always.
But it's just, he's like so frustrating. Like, I want to get to a point where he's not your top line winger. I want to get to a point where he's your second guy.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
Yeah, he does. I mean, in my eyes, I gave him a pass because he scores, and that's something that we haven't done a lot this year. And so without his goals, I don't know where we are. And he's not only just like a scorer, like he's a pure goal scorer. Like I forget which game he scored in recently, but I think it was a power play goal. He had the puck where he always is standing, kind of like at the corner spot there, like next to the goalie, just in front of the blue line or just in front of the red line, and he just like gets the puck and. Like he stops for a second just to like pause the goalie, and then he like shoots it 5-hole. It was like just such a you could tell he was processing that ahead of the goalie, and he like as soon as he saw his spot, he took it. And he's definitely a goal scorer, and we need his goals. But he Yeah, he's just frustrating. He doesn't do anything else, and I think he produces 5-on-5 just because he can score. Like when he gets chances, he buries them. But like he's not generating offense. Like because his passing is horrendous. He doesn't play defense, but like he's an opportunistic scorer, and that's fine. He's made a career out of that. So
Yeah, but you also need guys like that on the team.
yeah, exactly.
Agreed. It's also awesome. Like every time they show like the top 10 like most even strength goals scored over the last 10 years, and it's like McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon, Rantanen, Ovechkin, Skinner, and I'm like, holy shit, man! Like this guy is really good on 5-on-5.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll give him a pass because the goal scoring. That's what he's here to do. So all right, last one here is Alex Tuch. Alex Tuch, I'm giving a fail.
Tuch's been tough. He's been tough.
Yeah, I mean, I started a drinking game with myself. Every time Tuck turned the puck over, I was going to rip a shot of bourbon, and I was fucked up in the first period one time. So he is a fail.
That's a dangerous game.
Yeah, I ate off the next day, but okay, I have not liked his game pretty much the whole season, and it's really disappointing.
Yeah, he has the ability to take over a shift or even a game, and you haven't seen it at all.
Do you guys think that's because I feel like Tuck, well, a lot of our lines haven't been consistent this year. There's been a lot of jumbling. And like last season, there was pretty consistent play with the Skinner, Thompson, and Tuck line. Like, I don't know. Do you guys think that's affecting things at all as far as Tuck goes? I mean, he's fast with the puck and he's agile. And I think he can create offense. Granted, he hasn't done it a lot this year, but I don't know how else to explain the drop off in play other than injuries, and like that's something we haven't really heard reported a lot. So I don't really know, because to me, like Ryan, you said about Skinner being like the most frustrating, but in my eyes, it's kind of tough because it's just like we expected so much from him this year, and like Cousins really driving offense, and it hasn't been there. I don't know how to rationalize it.
I think it's mostly injury when it comes to him, because earlier this year, the NHL came out with like their edge statistics, and they're measuring like.
Oh, I'm gonna get into some edge statistics later.
Keep that between you and Katie, Jesus. So they were talking about like or the website, if you go to it, it shows like which players like their max speed or like their bursts, like their short bursts.
Yeah.
And Alex Tucks are way down this year. Like he was at like his max speed last year was like 21 miles an hour. This year I recently checked it again, and it's like 19. So he's going a full 2 miles per hour like less than he is in his max speed. So he's got to be dealing with something lingering constantly.
It's possible. You can't rule anything out, but my problem is that it's not just him. It's like the whole team is suffering from some kind of ailment, and so. Maybe it's injury, but maybe it's just the way this team is playing is not suited to. They just got to do what they were doing last year. I don't know how else to explain it.
Well, Donnie said that. It only took them fucking 36 games to realize that.
They're still not.
They're still not. Yeah, they're still trying to be Dan Bylsma 2.0 over here.
Hey,
Don was like, "Oh shit, I'm about to lose my job. Let's just do what we did last year, boys."
We were well coached under Dan Bylsma. That was like some of the best system. Right, exactly.
All right, well that rounds it out for the forwards there.
I feel like you missed guys. What do you mean? We didn't.
Well, I got centers. So like that's yeah. So I kind of like separate, but
you did wingers first, then centers. Okay.
Yeah. Whatever. Potato. You know, I'm real specific here. Listen, I'm getting into the analytics. I'm specifying.
You could have just did forwards as just one
center.
Forwards are centers and wingers, you dummy.
So there is some crossover there, you know, but it took me a couple of years to realize that as a general hockey fan. So I'm trying to make it easy for everybody here. But
it's actually hard to tell with the Sabres anyway, because you got people playing all over the place trying to get.
Everyone's fucking hurt, so
they're all defensemen now. So so we'll start with Cousins. I think this is big. Massive. This should be 3 Fs across the board, right?
Massive failure. Massive.
Yeah.
The guy can't buy a goal. The guy can't go to Vegas. If the guy went to fucking Vegas right now, and everyone knew there was a slot machine with a 99% win percentage, and he pulled the fucking lever, he'd lose. That's
Oof.
how unlucky he is right now.
Or
So
DC.
speaking to that, I was recently on the NHL Edge website looking up some advanced
Were you
analytics for
really?
Dylan Cousins, and so get this: Dylan Cousins this year, he's got 104 shots on goal. That's actually 84th percentile. So he's getting shots on goal. His shooting percentage though, 6.4%. That's below 50%.
That's bad.
Right? So like he's and we've seen that. Like he's getting shots on goal, but are they high danger chances? No, because he's not creating any offense. And he's hit like 7 posts. So he has had some brutal puck luck. I mean, I think even half his goals have been puck in or post and in goals. So like it seems like he's just off a little bit. But I mean, there's no denying that he's not driving any offense. One last statistic here, and then I'll let you guys chime in. Offensive zone time when he's on the ice, 39.9%. That's also below 50% in the NHL. So like the line, it's been better since the kid line's been reunited. But prior to that, I mean, he was lost out there.
I think
Any other thoughts?
No. Again, everybody on the team is just underperforming, and he's not. There's no exceptions. There's not a single exception. It's
literally just Benson.
Yeah, but I guess, but he also has like super low expectations, and he blows
Exactly,
it because an 18-year-old who he wasn't drafted first overall. He wasn't expected to be this amazing player. They thought he was going to be good, but he's the only one that you're just like, wow, like he's playing well.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I guess.
Man, I feel like Cousins, he was fighting it earlier in the season. Like he's been horrible since lately he's been pretty damn good, I would say. Just not scoring, which is just like it's just so unlucky. I feel like he's just shooting so well below expected. It's fucking insane. Like I was looking earlier, and he should have based off shooting metrics, he should have 6 more goals on the year. And I know that's not even great for him. Like I'm expecting him to score 30, like 25 to 30 every year.
They need him to. I mean, they need him to be that player. So.
Oh my god, I feel like early this year he was so bad. He was frustrated. He got his fucking face pounded in. Had to wear that stupid helmet for a while, the stupid fucking cage for a while. Couldn't play with it for probably like 6 or 7 games, and then he finally takes it off. Starts playing a little better, but not to his expectation. And here we are. We're 40-something games into the season, and you're kind of running out of time to salvage your play here, bud.
But how deflating does it have to be to take that beating and then say we have to play tougher, and then literally get a broken nose, and then your GM says, "Yeah, I don't agree with him. Like I just fucking broke my nose for you, and you don't have my back whatsoever." Like that. Had to, I'm sure, piss him off. But
right.
I guess $7 million maybe helps that a little bit. But all right, we can move on to Peyton Krebs here. We don't have to spend too much time, although he is somewhat of an interesting player. So Peyton Krebs, I gotta fail.
Wow. Okay, Eric.
I don't mind Krebs. I mean, what are we expecting with him playing with Gergensen and Poso? What do we really want from him?
He's a pass for me as well. I think he.
Oh my god.
He's a dog, dude. He gets.
Dude, oh my god, I'm so sick of hearing Peyton Krebs is a dog, and I don't understand. People are so infatuated with Krebs. I know he's not playing with playmakers, but dude, he's had some opportunities up on top lines. Oh well. But he's not though. I don't know. When I watch him, I'm just like, it's that eye test. I'm like, it's inconsistent. It's just so inconsistent. I don't see it. He's very good. I will say he's good at going behind the net and throwing it out to in front of the goal. And once in a while, a stick will find it and he'll get an assist. But fuck, I could do that honestly. I just don't see. I don't see it with Peyton Krebs, and I'm not saying it can't happen, but right now he's a fail for me. I don't get the Krebs love.
Well, okay, I'll say this: I'm open to an upgrade on Peyton Krebs, 100 for 50%. If you have to include him in some kind of deal because he's a young player to push something over the line, I'm totally fine with that. But I don't know. I just feel like he's kind of got a raw deal, man. He's playing with 2 guys with fucking bricks for hands every single night. The one he makes a pass and the guys don't score, and I feel like he's been our only center that actually wins a faceoff every so often. So I'm kind of giving him credit for that. I just feel like, even if he really never develops more of an offensive game, I feel like his defensive game is probably good enough to be an NHL fourth line center. So I don't
Okay,
know.
but you just proved
He's a
my
pass.
point for me. I'm going to interrupt you. So,
What?
like, if his ceiling is a fourth line center or a third line center, like, no matter what team he's on, he's not going to be playing with studs. So, like, what is the value there? Do you know what I mean? Like, if his ceiling is a top 1 or 2 center, yeah, he's going to get those counting stats. But is that his ceiling? I don't think so.
Yeah. That's huge for things like responsibility and puck possession, zone time. When he's playing well, nobody's getting chances against that line. And if you put him with guys that are capable to do that with him, then you have a solid shutdown third, fourth line. And that's where his value is. That stuff is so necessary, and we don't have it.
Yeah, I agree with Eric because you're putting him with Gergensen and Oposo, dude. Like, I know Oposo's been scoring, like, but dude, those guys are just not capable to play at this level like anymore. Like, one of them in your lineup is fine at a time, but we have two of them in our lineup, and both of them play special teams. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Peyton Krebs is getting a raw deal. If you stuck Peyton Krebs with like a fast fucker and like, okay, I guess Eric Robinson, and then like a guy that can like actually play D, I feel like that would be a good fourth line.
What do you
Like Robinson and Oposo, like they had, which was
No,
good for
Oposo
5 games.
No.
Yeah, I guess, but Oposo ran out because he's busy, being out for a while and making another kid.
And I like Greenway on a line with Krebs and Robinson as a solid D shutdown line, and maybe
might
there's
work.
some offense there, but unfortunately Greenway is a superstar forward, and he doesn't do what we supposedly brought him in for, and Krebs gets to play with the old guys. Yay!
Yeah.
And we just keep on rolling it and rolling it and rolling it, and it's not working.
All right, I mean, the farthest I can go is to neutral on this because I mean, I agree. I will concede that he has value defensively. He's always been in fairly responsibly defensively, but I don't see any offensive upside there. Even if he was playing with teams, I think he's shy to shoot, and I just don't see the creativity in the offensive zone. But like you said, there is a role for that, and they gotta get him with the right guy. So
how creative do you want him to be playing with Gergensen as a Pozo?
Listen,
what do you mean?
he's had opportunities to play up, and
Sure.
but like, and as far as
Inconsistent.
but like he's getting watched in practice every day. You know what I mean? Like I know we don't have this like elite coaching staff, but like if they were seeing this stuff in practice, they'd be like, all right, we got to get this kid up on the line, like Zach Benson. Like,
No,
there's
that's
just
not-
guys you see it from right away, and there's guys that they're just a third or fourth line center. That's okay.
And he is, but that doesn't mean he's a fail because he's a third or fourth line center. He still does his job. We need people to do their job.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
about time we get some roles on this team.
So adjusted pass. I'm going with a fail because I have higher expectations for him. But all right, we're moving on. We spent too much time on Krebs, anyways.
Go ahead.
We're going on a middle stat. Middle stat. This will be fast. Pass. Right.
Oh yeah, 100%. One of our best players, and I'm just teetering between re-sign and trade. Eric, we talked about this last episode for a while. Eric, how do you feel? Like, where do you stand on the trade middle stat or sign middle stat?
He wants him on the Leafs.
I want Middlestat on a third or fourth line, honestly.
Damn.
Put him with Krebs.
But in that secondary scoring capacity, because he works hard, and he used to have Jack Eichel syndrome where he would give up on plays and his head would go up and he's upset with himself and all this emotion on the ice. He's gotten rid of that, and I think he's become a really solid player, but he's not a first or second line player in my opinion. He's just I don't like him playing top minutes.
I mean, he's on pace for 71 points right now.
Yeah, and that's
Really not call him a second line player. I think he's perfectly
okay.
You just lost all credibility with your Peyton Krebs point by saying Middlestat is not a top line player.
No. I didn't say he wasn't. I just said I don't like him there.
I know.
Last year, so when he started like rejuvenating his like entire career last year, I was like, wow, Casey Middlestat is the perfect third line winger. guy will score and he will work hard. And I feel like now, I guess the third line is perfect for him, and he's gonna get fucking paid. This is the problem. When we're paying everyone, I feel like Casey is capable of playing on your second line, but we already have a second line center in Dylan Cozens.
Right. When he's needed, he can step up.
Yeah. I feel like the best play for our team, while he's a pass and I love him and he endured the shit for the last, 6 seasons or 7 seasons he's been in our organization. I don't know. I feel like moving him might be the play, just to get something else in the team.
It's just
Eric, what are your thoughts on that? Because we talked about that last show. So
it's gonna suck if we do move him and he lights it up with another team, and it's just gonna be another
like Reinhardt.
Sabres are the best farm team in the NHL.
I feel like Casey Middlestat would put up insane numbers in Carolina behind like Sebastian Aho in the first line, and he can just eat second line minutes with those guys. They play kind of the game that suits him a little bit, where it's like he's going to win a million puck battles and just throw pucks to the front of the net, and that's like perfect for them and for him. I think he's just such a good player. It's such a weird conundrum to be in, where like he's a good player, but I also kind of don't want to resign him.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's tough because he was such a late bloomer, So like they kind of like identified that core, and now you're in this tough spot because it's like, can we pay another guy? I'd be curious to see if like, do you think if they didn't extend Cousins last season and they had to pick, or they were picking like, okay, let's identify one core member, do you think like right now would that be Cousins or would it be Middlestat? Like, would they say, you know what, Casey's 2C, Dylan, we're gonna, we can offer you this, but you're gonna be down further? Because as far as the way they're playing right now, I feel like Middlestat would be in that second role. I don't know. I'd like to see what you think.
I don't know. I think they'd still pick Cousins in this scenario just because he's younger and has more offensive, more overall upside, I guess.
Yeah, Middlestat was almost like a little too late kind of situation.
That's a great point.
All right, moving on. We got Tage next. Tage, I got to fail.
Just for injury, man. I mean, I'm going to give him a pass because when he's playing, he's been unfucking believable. But he's missed a lot of games. He's just so good.
Believable?
Yeah.
Unfucking believable.
I think he's been awesome. I really do. I mean, he's back. I feel like he's back lately. No?
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing better, but I mean, until we get Tage Thompson from the last 2 seasons, I don't like him.
I do think just
everybody on the team.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that for sure, and that's just the frustrations of this season and the inconsistencies. But as far as like the NHL edge statistics go, let me throw some numbers your way here again.
I love how you're just like saying that when that website doesn't even do some stuff like that. They just track speed.
Yeah, no, but they do have shot speed and things. So like shot speed at 98th percentile, right? So we always know he's got the hard shot, but he had the wrist injuries, so we were like, all right, is he getting that back? And like it seems like that is back. He's 90 percentile with shots on goal, and even like speed statistics, 79 percentile for top skating speed and 74 percentile for speed burst. So I feel like he is relatively healthy. Like even like again, these are just blips of analytics, but like they do paint somewhat of a picture. And if you're getting some consistency in these higher percentiles with these, it's better than being low, obviously. So he might not be 100%, but he seems to be playing better. I think the system is what's kind of failing them right now, and obviously the power play. He's getting focused on more. So is it his problem? Like here's my and Eric, I know you want to chime in here, so I'll let you in a second. But here's my thing with Thompson. He broke out last year, so teams are very clearly preparing for him, and they know like he's not surprising anybody now. So as much as Thompson has to learn to, in this next season or two, he's got to learn to evolve his game and score in other ways and whatnot. We've seen that. But it's also the coaching staff's responsibility to try and figure out, okay, how can we use this weapon that we have? And there's lack of production, I think, because of both of those things. I don't know, Eric, what do you think?
So one thing that stood out you said is that, and I hear this from more than just you, is that he broke out last year. the season before that, he almost had 40 goals. If anything, that's his breakout season, and if they should have bared down on him last year. So whatever's going on this year, I don't think it's because he had a breakout season last year. It's just this overall team. Just we have a problem. We have a problem with our scoring, and it starts. And I'm going off on a tangent here, but it starts with our own zone, and then through the neutral zone, and our entries. It's just all bad. And as far as Thompson goes, he scored a lot of power play goals, and teams are focusing on him more. But what's the excuse when Ovechkin consistently scored 30 goals on the power play from the same exact spot while not even moving? The guy would stand still. So you can't tell me that they're focusing on Tage Thompson. So what? Nobody focused on Alex Ovechkin for 20 years? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but you're comparing Tage Thompson to probably the best goal scorer ever, right?
Yeah.
But
that's the difference. Like Tage, I guess.
It's the team play. They don't have the system that will help.
So I think that's more of the flaw.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a team problem. And you always compare goal scorers with goal scorers, apples to apples, right? So it's not, you could say the same thing about Stamkos scoring from that. Anybody that stands in that spot and scores goals, you can compare to anybody else that stands in that spot and scores goals. And we're not doing it because we don't have the system in place to do it.
We also don't have any other shooting threats besides him. So, of course we're going to stand on his head.
Remember that guy, Victor Olofsson? Wasn't he a thing for a while?
He just lost his whole mojo, man. His whole game was just gone.
Well, the problem with the power play is we have not only Tage standing in one spot, but the other four guys are just standing in one spot
they
as well.
They don't even try to open Tage up for a shot. They're just, oh my god. We'll get into another player when we talk about a different position that pisses me off.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into defensemen there. We'll start with Connor Clifton. I mean, this will be fast. We don't really need to elaborate too much here, I don't think. But I got to fail for Clifton.
Yeah, he's been tough.
Oh my god, dude, we have him for another 3 years, dude.
Yeah, that's probably
after this.
That's probably the worst part there. Eric Johnson, we'll just go through him real quick too. Again, just starting off with Kevin Adams, just two big additions early on. So fail.
No, I'm giving Eric Johnson a pass, dude.
Good for you.
Good
for you, Ryan.
Listen, I will.
You know what? I gotta take a piss. This is a good time for me to walk outside and take a quick piss. So I'll let you guys handle it for a second here.
Oh my goodness.
Eric Johnson's not a world beater.
He was here. He really left.
He came. He has to pee. He said he really had to pee. I don't know, man. I feel like we brought him in here to just play as a sixth defenseman, and he's doing six defenseman things. Occasionally he'll carry the puck up the ice and create offense, but I don't know. I feel like he hasn't. He's been not worse than Clifton. I'll say that. Clifton was easily the worst signing.
Oh yeah, nobody's been quite as brutal as Clifton, and again, he's another one where what's Clifton 5'10", and people are like, oh, he plays so much bigger than he is, and he throws his body, and then he comes to the Buffalo Sabres and does the exact opposite.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I can't say Eric Johnson was a failure. I mean, he's doing his job, in my opinion.
He's another one where I guess you can compare him to Krebs, to where you want him to do a job, and I don't know if he's doing that job. And there's been times where we've had defensemen playing better than him, and he's still in the lineup, and you just wonder why. And that's
I agree with that.
And that's another topic, is personnel decisions and who's deciding on why these guys are getting in the lineup, because it's just, you scratch your head. You don't know why.
There's no chance that he should be an every game defenseman. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's been good, great. But
no, for sure.
when he's playing well, he's doing this thing. I mean, he's sticking up for our guys. I don't know.
Sure.
It's not Eric Johnson's fault that the Sabres are bad.
No,
that's all.
No. And I want to like the guy, but I just think that there's been some better options. So I guess it's not his fault. Kind of like it's not Krebs' fault.
Right. Yeah. We got other guys to blame, and I'm sure we'll get into a couple of them very soon here.
All right, I'm back.
Thank goodness.
I got one thing to say about Eric Johnson. I missed all that, Ryan. I'm sure you made some fantastic points, but
I mean, he's just not his fault. Basically, it's not his fault.
no, but I wonder this. It's not his call, but do you think if Eric Johnson wasn't here, I'm tying my boots on because my feet were getting frigid in those Crocs. I needed to, and I forgot I put these boots on my heater, so these things are toasty as hell right now. But do you think if Eric Johnson wasn't here and right from the bat spewing his nonsense of, oh, this team has to, be more defensive. That's how we win championships. I did that in Colorado. That's how we win championships, boys. Do you think it would have taken Don and the coaching staff 36 fucking games to say, no, fuck that. We're just going to play how we did last year because that's the team that we have organized? Like, I just feel like I have to give him a fail because I think he's partially responsible for the team just not playing how they played last year because we got this Stanley Cup champion in the room and we need to listen to what he says.
Well, okay, that's Don and Kevin's fault. I think the decision to play more defensive was decided in the summer.
Yeah, Eric Johnson didn't come here and say, all right, guys, we're changing the whole system. And they were like, okay, Eric Johnson.
Like, Eric Johnson isn't even really that good defensively. Eric Johnson is the guy that carries the puck up the ice. Like, that's how he was his whole career. Like, he's old now and doesn't do it as often, but you see in spurts this year, he's carried the puck up the ice and just, like, created a little bit of offense there and plays physical and shit. But, like, dude, I don't know. I just, the decision to play this way, it riles me the fuck up, especially now with Eric, with you here being like, well, no one's actually playing that well. And I'm like, yeah, because it's the fucking system, dude. It's the whole reason why we're not good.
I agree with you guys, but I just I have crazy takes, so I just had to say that because there's other people thinking crazy like me out there. But all right, yeah, Eric Johnson, good guy, whatever. All right, moving on. We'll get into
Don't bring him back either.
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
We're getting into this fucker already.
He shelled us for $3 million or $2.5 million, whatever he's making. So let's get into Dahlin.
Hold on, before we talk about Dahlin, the only solace you can take about Eric Johnson is the fact that New York State has high taxes, so he really isn't getting $3 million. He didn't,
There we go.
Take that. Thanks for paying into my New York paid family leave, jerk.
There we go. All right, Dahlin. I'm gonna start this off. I'm going with a fail.
I can't say anything. I have to hold my thought for a minute. So Eric,
no. I am not as down on Dahlin as everybody else is. I don't think he's playing well, but I think he's obviously still very talented. Again,
sounds like a TV show. Down on Dahlin.
Down on Dahlin. Maybe it goes with your edge work.
Yeah, exactly. We do that at work at night when we're watching Down on Dahlin.
What have you liked about his game this year? Because I have a lot to say that I don't like, and I need to be persuaded.
Oh, I'm not here to persuade you. I'm not going to be able to. It's just there's a noticeable difference between his talent and the rest of the defenders.
Oh yeah.
But it's just he's not playing well, and that's the best way I can describe it. And I've seen him struggle with holding on to the puck, but not like this year. He's just been every time that he touches the puck, you're worried he's going to lose it, and that's been one of the biggest differences I've seen.
Yeah, Matt, are you okay? Did you fall?
Was that noisy?
Yeah.
Well, I was grabbing my Mickey Ultra, and my fridge is right next to my. You guys know the studio is in the garage.
Right.
We just had a fucking lake effect storm. I'm out here and fucking freezing my ball sack off in 10
Those
degree weather.
Ice cold.
With
Those
2 feet of snow.
Ice cold, dude.
Oh yeah. So I'm like, I'm a fairly tiny guy, and I'm even having trouble squeezing in here. And so I was trying to grab this guy, but
I feel like a good bit for you is every episode, you just put more and more clothes on. Where eventually you're just huge with 17 sweaters. That'd be a great bit. That'd be awesome. But
dude, I am actually pretty toasty, and I still rolling with these free gloves I got from the game when we got pumped by the Blue Jackets 9-4. I brought something good home.
Terry can't fix the arena, but he can give you guys some gloves.
All right, go ahead. But I don't know. I can't remember who was talking.
We were just talking about Dahlin, and Eric was just saying how he's not playing well, and that's really just all you can really say, because there are times last year he's like holding the puck on a string and like going around guys, but this year he tries to do the same moves and he's getting stripped and the puck is in the net. I like Dahlin defensively. Like, I don't mind him in the defensive zone. I think he's actually really good this year. It's the offense, which is like non-existent sometimes. Like, he's getting points because he's like, you know, occasionally he'll get a power play point here, and he's like our empty net merchant this year. But dude, he's just not carrying the puck. Like, and that's not. I don't think that's his fault. I do what I go. Go ahead.
Well, okay, so let me ask Eric, because I asked you this a couple weeks ago, and Eric, you probably heard if you listened. But so, Eric, do you think the drop in Dahlin's play is? Do you think it's him, or is it what we've talked about? All these other guys copy paste the system.
Well, I mean, we've seen him not do well in systems in the past, and that could very well be his issue again. Is that they want him to play a different way, and he's just not that player.
Yeah, I feel like he's not allowed to carry the puck again. Like, you know how he was Krugerfied and just he was like, yeah, I'm not allowed to carry the puck. Didn't he actually just say? Didn't I send you a tweet, Matt? In a text?
Oh yeah, he was basically saying that like I wanna do this or I want to do that, but we're told that we got to play more defensively or something along those lines.
He did just say like that he's like basically not allowed to activate more, and it's like, dude, this guy was a Norris Trophy, like he was voted for the Norris last year as one of the best defensemen. He is one of the best puck carrying defensemen in the league, and when you kind of take that away, you're kind of just like, you're going to get 60% of what Rasmus Dahlin is every night if you're not going to let him carry the puck.
Yeah, it's been.
I also feel like he should kind of transcend that and be like, "Fuck you! I'm Rasmus Dahlin. I'm being paid $11 million a year. I'm going to play to my strengths."
Yeah. Plus, it's not like he's going to get benched.
Right. You can't bench the guy.
Yeah. So I was just looking for the post, and this is what you sent me from Matt Fehrenbaron. Rasmus Dahlin told me this week, I can't really jump into rushes now. I got to have more responsibility and have to take care of the D zone more. So that was his actual quote. But this is what we're talking about with him. Like, I think part of it is honestly the system, in that he, like you said, he's not able. He plays much more sound, even defensively, when he's not thinking and he's reacting just more. It's more reactionary play and just seeing it, but he doesn't have those outlets in the D zone, so there is no rushes. And I don't know. It's just I think with him, a lot of it is kind of that systems issue where it's just he's not confident playing in it, and you see it, and he's definitely a guy who gets in his head a lot. Like I don't know, he knows when he's not playing good, and he knows he's a great player, but he wants to play good, and so I think he adds a little bit of pressure to himself, and some of the mistakes he's made this year are like inexplicable. Like they're bad mistakes, bad passes, bad turnovers, and they always cost him. So he's definitely in a bit of a funk, and I don't, like a lot of these other guys, I don't necessarily think it's all his fault, but we'll see what happens, I guess. Any other thoughts on Dahlin here before we move on?
We can move on. I have another comment about him, but I'm saving it for when we talk about another player.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah, I mean his analytics are pretty good. I mean he's shooting well. I mean offensive zone time when he's on the ice is 74 percentile in the league. So like it's not bad, like analytically, but I just
he's
had
good.
to throw.
He's just not allowed to do the things that make him super good.
Yeah, absolutely. But all right, so we'll go on to probably don't want to spend too much time here. Yoki Haru, I got a pass for Yoki Haru, but
yeah, pass. I could go without him though. Let's get an upgrade.
Yeah. I would trade him.
There's really nothing to say. He's not special at all.
No,
he's been scratched a bunch too.
I hate that he gets as many chances as he gets, because you see that 10 on the jersey, and you're like, well, this doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's just like there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get, like, my thing with him real quick is just like, I feel like I don't see him cost us a whole lot either. Like, I'm never always like, but like, he's never like, he's not like an impact player either. Like you said, he's just kind of there, I guess. But
he'd be perfect in a third pair, in my opinion. But
sure,
he doesn't play in the third pair; he plays in the second pair.
He's like the defensive Peyton Krebs, essentially. Like kinda, he's there. Like, he doesn't do nothing.
Yeah.
we just compared Krebs to Eric Johnson when you were gone.
Oh, there we go. We're on a fucking roll tonight. All right, Sammy, we could probably run through this. Phil.
Oh, okay. So I'm attributing at least 35% of Dahlian's struggles to being paired with Matthias Samuelsson every single night.
Yikes.
Eric, what are you thinking?
Has he played? I've seen him on the injury list, but that's about it.
Yeah, his permanent position is a hospital bed.
Yeah, remember last year when we were winning more games with him in the lineup, and
Oh my god, yeah,
What a
that crazy
weird stat. That was a weird stat. We lost like 8 games and like without him. That was weird.
yeah,
But I don't. He just
He's
is,
failing on the ice, but he is passing absolutely with flying colors in the recovery room.
yeah.
He is just.
Hospitals love him.
The Sabres need to trade him before teams figure out that he's this bad. I'm not kidding.
Oh,
Like,
that's
he
actually a
would
good
be-
plan.
He would be probably my number one guy to ship off because he's got a long deal, but it's not cost prohibitive. Like it's a brand new 7-year deal, but I mean, he's only making what like less than 4 a year.
I think it's like 4. I think it's 4 on the
That's
dot or
nothing.
4.25.
Like that's nothing for
Yeah.
a long. And other teams will look at him and be like, "This guy's big. He's got a long reach. He can be like a shutdown guy." I think he's got value on the league, and he would probably be one of the first guys that I move.
I like
Yeah,
it.
I mean, we've talked about that for sure. I mean, I think he's he makes he's making 4.2. He makes 4.2 like for the like every year for the next like 6 years or whatever. But so it's not like it's a crazy contract. But
Like,
yeah,
you
I think
know
he's a tradable piece for sure.
You know how like for years and years and years, the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick, they would like ship guys out, and they'd be like, "Wow, I can't believe they just got rid of this player." Blah blah blah, and then like 2 years later, they're like out of the league, terrible.
Yeah.
We need to figure out that, like we need to trade a guy like before the league figures out that he's not good.
Didn't we do that with Ristolainen?
Well, he's actually good now. That's the fucking problem.
Is he?
Like, dude, his
He's got a good
No.
coach.
his defensive numbers are like some of the best in the league. Like he's actually a good defender now. Like he you know how when he was here, like he was terrible defensively, but
He
like
would
decent
stare-
offensively. It's totally
Stare at the
opposite now.
puck. So how did they get him to stop looking at the puck? Because that's literally all that dude would do.
He got taught like how to actually play by one of the best coaches in the league.
Ah, the difference. The
Yeah,
difference.
I
There
know.
it is.
I get it. I understand what point you're making here.
Yeah, absolutely. And then so let's just get into our last guy here, Owen Power, because we can probably spend a few minutes on him. I got to fail for Power.
I got a pass for Power.
I don't mind Power. I think people expect a lot more from him than what he is. I think he really needs to figure out his foot speed because he is slow. There's a play earlier this year where somebody beat him to an icing, and he probably had 2 or 3 steps on the guy, and he just got passed. And I was like,
I remember that game. Yep. That's why I've said this year too, where like maybe it's a foot speed thing, but I've questioned his effort a couple times on here. Maybe it's a sophomore slump. These guys are getting adjusted, but I don't know. Like for Power, like that's why he's a fail for me. Like you said, I think I'm one of those guys that has just maybe too high of expectations for him because I do think he's the number 1 pick. So like I expect a lot, from him, and I think he has the skill set to do it, but. It's just been way too inconsistent, and for me, I don't know. I never know what I'm getting out of him, so that's where I have a hard time in saying pass because like he was so good last year and just driving offense last year, and again, I know we beat it to the dead end here of this. It was a different system and things, but like that seems to be the common theme here. But I don't know. Power is tough for me just because I don't know. I don't see that there's just this. He's not taking that step, and maybe he'll do it in the 3rd year. But I have high hopes for him, and it's not working out right now.
No.
Go ahead, Eric.
Okay.
You go.
I think he's fine.
I'll go. I wasn't really done yet. Anyways, he doesn't want to get hit. He doesn't want to get hit. I guess no one wants to get hit, but like this, he's like. It's like what I see with Dahlin. They get the puck in the zone. I mean, there's been so many times where I've seen him get a D zone retrieval, and like he doesn't even have a guy by him, but he's just so slow with turning it around that now there's a guy and we can't clear it because again I don't think these guys know where their outlets are. but it's just he's so slow behind our net and just breakouts. I don't know.
So I think you're confusing that with not being effort with that's just his play style. And I guess I'm not an ice hockey player, but people have often said the similar things about me where they don't understand like why I'm not moving right away. Where's the sense of urgency? What are you doing? And then I'll make this play, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I get it now." That's so you don't always need to be moving really fast and doing things to make solid plays. You can have that kind of calm in your game and still do the right thing. And it's not that he's not putting in the effort. I think it's just his play style.
Yeah, I also feel like over the last, 10 or so games, he's been more dynamic than Darlene with the puck. And
He's been better as of late for sure.
Pretty surprising to me. I feel like I'm giving him a pass because I've liked his play recently way more than I did like earlier in the season. And because I feel like he's getting the young Darlene treatment where it's kind of unfair to, to rack on a 21-year-old player like with, he should not be like a pillar of the team yet.
Right, and on the list of guys that have regressed the most, he's very low on that list of regression.
Yeah, especially lately. I feel like he's really picked it up lately.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let my dog out, so you guys gotta do this for me.
Yeah, we'll be wrapping up soon anyways, but it's interesting with him because like I said, I think he processes the game at a very high level. Like you can tell. He did that even last year. And I think that's why you see that what you were just saying, that kind of slow play from him, because he's very patient with the puck, and last year he made a lot of good plays by using that patience. I don't know, it just seems like this year again, I think it comes down to that, just again, this style that we're playing, that I think there's a little bit more of a sense of urgency or hesitancy when he is getting that puck in our zone, because I don't think they have as much of a game plan in place, and that's right where they're running into some issues with him.
As a defenseman, if you don't have that quick option to move the puck, you do end up sitting there a little bit longer than you want to, and you get yourself in trouble. But it's not always on them.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, that is going to wrap it up for that. All right, we are pretty much at our time here. Do we want to end it here? Do we want to do anything else? We pretty much went. Oh, do we want to do goalies just real quick, and then we can kind of wrap up, or what do you want to do? I know we got more on the show doc here, but I'm good with whatever.
Quick goalie. I only got like one or two words to say about goalies, but we kind of got to include them. They are part of the team.
Yeah. I didn't want to. All right, I was almost going to jump over. I'm giving them both passes, so.
Yeah, that's fine. Eric's a fail. Eric Comrie, not you, Eric. We love you. But Eric's
oh, man. He's never coming back.
You're giving both goalies a pass? Is that what you just said?
That's fine.
I'm giving them a pass. Yeah, both goalies a pass.
Okay. Can I give the organization a fail for mistreating Levi? Okay.
Yeah. I feel like they should. CPS should go for abusing a child, because Levi is just not playing. He's in a tough situation, and I gave him shit earlier, literally an hour and a half ago in this episode. But I feel bad for the kid. Honestly, he should not be here. So relative to expectation, you just gotta he's doing okay, and I like.
But don't you think he agreed to that, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't you think there was conversations before he signed?
What do you think? Why wouldn't he agree? He's getting paid $1 million to be a child in the NHL and be on private flights, have breakfast at the arena. Just like,
right.
Of course you want to be in the league. If I was him, I'd be like, yeah, if they can pretend I'm an NHLer for as long as possible, that's great.
Yeah, fake it till you make it.
But that's what I'm saying. So he knew what the deal was. Like, they were gonna be playing him. So I mean, you can say that they're doing him wrong and stuff, but like, I don't know. I've always been in this camp where what other options are there? Like you said, there's not Comrie. So like you said, the hands are tied, but like, I don't necessarily think they're making the wrong decision with him. I think the wrong decision would be sending him down, because like, if UPL is going to be the guy, like, just let Levi come up and play every once in a while. The season's already lost. So just give him the experience now, and then you can send him down at the end of the year.
He's not getting experience sitting on the bench though. And like, he's facing NHL shooters in practice, and he gets his game here or there, but you need him from going from a college schedule to a professional schedule. Like you need him to get those reps in, and you need him to get some consistency down to his game.
Yeah, with the way Comrie's been playing in the AHL, I could seriously see them calling him back up and putting Levi in Rochester soon. Especially if they keep losing and they know the season's over.
And also in a backup capacity, sure. Well, what he's just going to be doing the exact same thing Levi's doing, and if they're playing the same, then that's fine.
Yeah, Levi's an interesting topic.
This kid is the future of our. I mean, I guess honestly, UPL might be the future of our goaltending. He's only 23 years old, 24.
24.
So hey, if all the hype goes to Levi and UPL turns out to be the guy that we have for the foreseeable future, and he's the 1A. Things just kind of work out like that in this league. There are no there's no guarantees. So I do.
Well, I guess the big example too is Miller too, right? They didn't rush him. He played down there a couple years and he came up and there you go. So
yeah, Nornan was the guy back then. Mika Nornan was the guy.
Mika Nornan, what a legend.
It's only because he scored a goal and because he wiped the glass for the goal.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Goal judge. Forgot what he's called.
All right, we gotta just do Bills real quick before we go because okay. I know Bills are Ryan. You got predictions for the game coming up here?
It's my turn to take a piss.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Okay, so my prediction is we're gonna throw Taylor Swift in the pit, and we're winning. Bills win 31-27.
31-27. Yep. It's a good prediction because I don't think. Like, our defense is so banged up right now, but I'm just so impressed with how it's just so different from the Sabres coaching situation. I'm so impressed with how McDermott has, just fought through all the adversity this year. Just everything, all the outside noise with the Ty Dunn article and then all the injuries on the defense. And, this team had their backs against the wall. They've won 6 in a row now. That's all leadership and that next man up mentality that they have for that defense. So despite the injuries on defense, it doesn't concern me that much. I feel like they're not going to be able to obviously slow down the Chiefs, but I think in that 24-27 window is appropriate. They're at home, so they're going to have the crowd behind them. Yeah, I think they're going to get the win. I think at the end of the day, Josh Allen if you're going to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, you're going to have to put on your Superman cape for a game. He's done it before. And I think he does it again, and the Bills are going to get a win and move on. I actually like your score prediction. I'll go 34-24. I think we pull out a double-digit win here.
Wow.
All right, boys. Do we want to wrap it up there then?
Hey, I heard an interesting stat about the Bills. It said they were 6-0 since it came out that Sean McDermott worshipped Al Qaeda.
Let's go.
Is that right?
Yep.
That happened.
Yep. Praise Allah. That's what Sean says.
Yeah, oh my God, the memes are endless right now.
Dude, if we end up winning the Super Bowl, the memes are just going to be absolutely. I mean, they're already straight fire, but wow, incredible.
The next 4 games until we see everybody next week. The next 4 games: tomorrow at Chicago, Saturday against Tampa Bay. I want to say that's Kids Day. Tuesday against Anaheim, and then Wednesday against the Kings. Real quick, we'll go point projections. Ryan, out of these 4 games, when we talk next week, what's your projection for points?
4.
Eric, what do you think?
4 is probably reasonable.
I mean, they can follow the pattern of what they've been doing. Yeah, I'm going to go with 4 as well. Seems like there's a couple winnable games in there and a couple games that we'll lose. And then we'll probably do the opposite of that anyways because that's how this team goes. So
yeah, I mean, that Tampa Bay game being a kids game is definitely a loss because every kids game the kids can go to hell, I guess.
The Sabres motto is "fuck them kids."
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I do see those memes every single year. To be honest, now that you say that,
I'll post one when they lose. I'm good for it. I got it saved. I got it locked and ready.
Brutal.
Remember all right, fellas.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You got anything?
Yeah, remember the beginning of the season, Vasilevsky was out, and they're like, "Oh man, this is our chance. We could take over Tampa Bay." And whoops.
Well, we were saying to trade UPL there, and now we fucking need him.
Oh man.
We're like, let's trade UPL there because we got Levi and we got Comrie, and they'll be our 1A, 1B, and now it's just like a total disaster, I guess. But
brutal.
All right. Well, I'm just going to do one real shout out here before we go. Shout out Eric. Thanks for coming on the show here. We'll definitely, we're going to be getting you on for future episodes anyways, but it's good to inject that little bit of turmoil here and there. So we appreciate that. And you got any shout outs, Eric, before we go, before we head out?
No, but I guess if I wanted to make one, it would be to Randy. For a while there, he was really he would tell me when you guys posted the show, and so we'd listen to it at work together. So shout out to him for always being there for you guys up until recently, when it's been like a chore to do anything involving the Sabres.
How do you think
the Sabres are not helping our listenership.
Yeah.
That'll be like, are we gonna record tonight? And internally, I'm like, before I reply, I look at my phone for 5 minutes. I'm like, I really don't want to.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'm just a little confused. I don't know who Randy is. Are you talking about Showtime?
Yeah, that's the one. You might remember him from all the stuff in his pocket at my wedding.
Oh yeah, Randy's a good dude. So appreciate Randy. Shout out to Randy, best roller hockey player ever, apparently. And all right, and we'll see everybody next week. But you know what to do. You already know. If you're watching on YouTube at Saber Spot, let's just bring that sucker into view here. There you go, at Saber Spotlight. Check us out on Twitter, and we'll see everybody next week. Hopefully after some wins. Peace out.
Yeah,
See ya.